Get ready for a Republican Royal Rumble as another 2024 contender gets into the race. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis officially filing paperwork to run for president. He will sit down with Trey Gowdy on Fox News tonight for his first television interview at 8 p.m. Eastern. DeSantis' wife getting things started by putting out this teaser video.
Is it worth the fight? Do I have the courage? Is it worth the sacrifice? America has been worth it every single time.
Former President Trump wasting no time going after DeSantis, saying that the Florida governor can't win and needs a personality transplant. Brand new poll shows Trump gaining support and doubling his lead over DeSantis since March. But DeSantis appears ready for a fight. His allies are expected to spend up to $200 million to try and defeat Trump. And the liberal knives are out for the Florida governor. Hillary Clinton tweeting, quote, Ron DeSantis' ultra-MAGA Florida isn't safe for people of color, LGBTQ plus people, or even multi-billion-dollar corporations. And the media is getting in on bashing DeSantis.
I don't want to dislike you. I can't help it. Why do you dislike people of color? What's wrong with American history? Yeah. What's wrong with gay folks?
You're seeing his lack of political skills and his lack of political judgment and maybe a little bit of whiff of desperation here.
It's obvious that Ron DeSantis is a white supremacist, right?
This is not a freedom agenda. This is a do what Ron DeSantis tells you to do, the state owns you agenda.
Well, Dana, it seems like they're pretty upset about it, but will DeSantis see a huge boost in polling after today, or did he wait too long to announce?
So I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know what the polls will show, but I personally am glad that this is now we're going to actually see the peeling back of the curtain, because we've been talking about DeSantis might run for so many months now that this is going to be good to finally get it started. President Trump's team had spent about $15 million and had really helped to drive down DeSantis's poll numbers. One of the narratives was they're trying to kill this baby in the cradle. They do not want this baby to be able to announce a run for president. He was, as I can understand it, and I don't know his team, I don't talk to them, so this is my observations. They wanted to wait until after the legislative session so that he could say, here, you want a conservative Republican nominee? Here's what I can do for you. Look at all of my accomplishments, and he can list them off. And he's super articulate and deep in the weeds on policy, so he will be able to do that. He also has this healthy disdain for the media, which I think Republican primary voters appreciate. President Trump was able to, he didn't have a disdain for them. He could work with them, and he drove the media crazy. The media is also being driven crazy by Ron DeSantis because he ignores them, and they don't like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So I don't know how the polling will go. I do think it's interesting to see that other Republican candidates who have already announced that they're either thinking of running or they've already gotten in, they don't attack President Trump, but they feel free and clear to attack Ron DeSantis. So who do they think the real threat is? That's something I'm interested to watch tonight.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting. Yeah, and you know, Brian, in a Trump-DeSantis poll, Quinnipiac, Trump 56, DeSantis 25. Since March, Trump has gone up 9 points. DeSantis has gone down 8 points. Does any of that mean anything now that DeSantis is in the race?
If he's got game, and I think he does, we've already seen 60 Minutes try to take him on and others, and he really thrives when he's challenged. So I don't think that'll be an issue. But if if he steps up and he just performs like he did 2 weeks ago in Iowa, he had 2 appearances. I watched them both. We carried one on the Saturday show, and I watched the one in the afternoon. And then on his instinct, he goes to the exact place that Donald Trump had to cancel in Des Moines because of weather. And Trump did the right thing, canceling. But he goes, let me go to the restaurant right around there. And he went there and he shook hands, and he seemed to be thriving. So Donald Trump was able to run up the score because Ron DeSantis wasn't in the game. I just want to see if when Ron DeSantis hears you're banning books, what's his answer? When he hears you don't like American history, you don't want to bring up slavery, what's his answer? And what can you expand on anti-woke? He's not looking to ban books. We know what he's doing. Right. We know he's not against American history. He's against the skewing of American history. But he hasn't answered. Now answer. And I really think he should take on sit down with all media, not just people that like him. Because he does not, it's one of his strengths.
You know, Geraldo, one of the things that Brian's talking about is so important, and that is, how is he going to answer those questions? I mean, the left has had so much time to attack him, and you think Ron DeSantis, he's banning books. Well, no, he's banning them for 7-year-olds.
But he has to explain the drop in his popularity that you just cited, Judge. How did he lose all of that support over the last couple of months? Is it possible, as I think so, that this whole war on woke, war on Walt Disney, war on diversity, inclusion, equity, and all the rest of that stuff is not enough? Now, you mentioned at the top of the show, Casey DeSantis, his wife. She's brave, she's charming. She could be his secret weapon. I think that if they come out and she's supporting him the way Jackie Kennedy, that's the image they are trying to evoke.
Yes, looks definitely.
And they all look and they seem to costume to be reminiscent of that era. If she can, cap that magic, and DeSantis can get out of this, this armadillo armor going after all the Mickey Mouse, he could be a very, very interesting candidate. And he's going to use age like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I'm friends with Charlie Crist at his wedding. When he had the final debate with Charlie Crist, the old governor of Florida, running against DeSantis, he got his tail kicked. And DeSantis said of Charlie Crist, because everyone was saying, you're going to run against Trump, you're going to run against Trump. He said, Charlie Crist, the only worn-out donkey I'm looking to put out to pasture is Charlie Crist. A worn-out donkey, I think that's going to be his approach. He's going to be scornful of people with age on them.
Okay. All right, Jimmy, wrap it up.
On some level, there's a part of me that admires anybody who runs for president just because I'd never passed the background check. So the fact that they've gotten that far.
Or the dope check.
Well, you're way ahead of me.
Don't even go
Hey,
there.
Geraldo, shots fired. Let me jump in here really quick. You can tell by the media reaction that DeSantis is the guy they feel threatened by, because they're already coming at him with everything imaginable. You know the old adage, when you have the facts, pound the facts. When you have nothing, pound the table. They're pounding the table pretty aggressively. He didn't ban books. He clearly didn't ban gay people. Anybody who thinks Florida banned gay people has never been to Key West, okay? They're having a fabulous time down there, as they should. But where DeSantis has more traction than people realize is he's leading the way on a lot of policies that people agree with but don't feel comfortable speaking to out loud. And a good example of that would be the parental rights and education bill. Parents supported that bill. Democrats called it Don't Say Gay, and parents kind of stood back. But if you're a parent, as I am, you realize we're living in America where 1 in 3 kids can't read at a grade level, okay? If you're a guy who wants to focus on education as opposed to the people who want to give your kid a drag show from some guy named Cinnabons, I'm telling you, you're scoring with parents. And he's got a lot of upward mobility.
You know what's interesting is that DeSantis is the only one with a military background among all of them.
Yep.
And
Right.
I wonder how that plays.
Geraldo, I think the main reason why his numbers went down is he's been attacked relentlessly by an expert.
Yes.
An expert who's putting together good ads with the best team he's ever had. This is his best team. And for the most part, Ron DeSantis only subtly answered back. Now you'll see if he's got anything because you put the gloves on.
But when the judge recalls his military service, when was the last time you saw a picture of him in uniform as a JAG officer?
The wedding.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think he should
more of
emphasize his
more
strength.
Well, I can't wear it now. I mean, he wore it when he was in the military. Anyway, don't miss this. Governor Ron DeSantis will join Trey Gowdy on Fox News tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.